welcome to Podcast Fandom, the official podcast for ProjectFandom.com. I'm your host, Nina, and I am back with another ProFan interview. If you've not listened to our first one, this is only the second one that I've done. If you've not listened to the first one, what these are just interviews with the people who listen to our podcast, people who hang out in our Facebook group and talk about pop culture all day, people who watch TV with me, like literally. We plan viewing sessions for TV shows, Sunday night, HBO night, 9 p.m. If there's something good on HBO, I'm sitting in Facebook watching it with these people. And it occurred to me that I don't know enough about everybody that's in that group, and we share a lot of stuff. And it's been years. And I just thought it would be nice to sit down and talk to the people who listen to the podcast. So I put out a call and asked, hey, who wants to come on? 80 people wrote back and said yes. And my next guest is one of them. Say hello, Tamela.
Hi. So weird.
Don't feel silly. Say hey to the people. They're excited. Everybody loved the first one. I'm sure they're going to love this one. So No pressure.
It's cool. I'm just like, I'm not drinking alcohol, so it's kind of weird.
Wait, I have a drink. Why don't you have a drink?
Because after this, I actually have to run errands in the truck, so I'm like...
Oh, smart. I don't have to go anywhere after this. After this, I have to edit like 4 podcasts. I have a lot to do tonight.
You don't do that drunk. With drinking. I'm such a lightweight that I can't really function after a drink. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I am just drinking... I'm drinking soju with strawberry lemonade. And I think it might be strawberry soju.
Ooh, this sounds good. But soju always, I can't drink it. It's just too much. Maybe it's actually better because I've been doing vodka for the last 2 years. But
really? Wait.
Yeah.
So soju, when you say it's too much, you'll just get super drunk off a little bit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I have that kind of tolerance. It's just, I want to really help my tolerance, but at the same time, it's still as if I was a teenage kid. Just one drink, I'm tipsy.
Wow. See, I have low tolerance too, but what I like about drinking soju is that it takes a minute, and then when it does hit me, I just feel like everything feels light. Like my arms feel light, la la la. I just that's what kind of quote unquote drunk I am. And then I never feel it the next day.
You don't get hangovers?
I do not get hangovers with soju. I cannot drink wine. I get wine headaches that night. Even before I'm done drinking, I'll start to get a headache, and then I'll have a headache the whole next day if I drink wine. And then hard liquor, absolutely. The next day, I'm it's diarrhea, it's throwing up, it's everything. But soju, I'm great.
Really? Oh, the last time I had a hangover, which is how I got COVID, it took me 3 or 4 days to get through it. And then all of a sudden I was sick, and I was it was one of the worst hangovers because I really don't remember much of that night. I totally blacked out. And
so you segued into a several day hangover right into COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
how was your, if you don't mind asking, and this is how it goes. I just ask questions and there's no real format. I told you it's very, very loose. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. How, if you don't mind my asking, how was your COVID experience?
It was weird because when I started to feel ill, thankfully I was working from home. Mm-hmm. And we had this policy: do not come to work if you don't feel good. Right. And I it was a Monday, and I told my boss, I said, I feel off. I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And the next day, it felt like the flu, and I hadn't had a flu since 2019. Right. So really okay, this is weird. And so I immediately took a COVID test just to make sure. Right. I was good. So I went through my time as if I had the flu, and so the worst part was my dog got sick at the same time, so I had no time to rest. So I was taking the dog, I was going to the vet, I was doing all this stuff, and then it was the Sunday when I started to I think I'm feeling better. I couldn't taste or smell anything. Oh shit! And the first thing what I thought of oh dear God, my mother.
Yeah.
Well, I could call her Patricia just when I'm like in trouble
Right.
or mad. I'm like, oh God, Patricia.
Patricia.
I was like, don't come in here. And
Yeah. Because you live with your mom.
Yeah, I live with my mom, and she often has said, if I get it, it's because of you, because you want the most. And sure enough, put my happy ass out there, living like, as my sister was saying, living like a rock star, drinking like crazy, and I got it. And it was just, that's when it hit, like, because I was already nauseated. I couldn't sit up too long. I couldn't work. Like, I would do half days.
The fatigue, yeah.
The fatigue hit me hard. And then just when I think it was a day later, my mom decided, she goes, okay, I can definitely like test. And she was positive as well. We were able to get the medicine for her. So I was more worried about her than me. I got her the medicine. She went through it, and it was mild for both of us, thankfully.
Because you're both vaccinated, right?
We're both vaccinated. Especially, she fought it for a long time, but her going to the hospital on and off throughout the years, that she just had to get it.
Yeah.
And, I just made sure she rested, and fortunately I had bought everything before I bought groceries, so we were kind of set, and we both didn't have appetites. All I wanted was bread. That's
like me all the time, but go ahead.
See, I love bread too, but this time I didn't eat anything else.
Right.
I didn't notice that I was losing my taste at the same time. I was just thought, oh, it's salty, and I'm sometimes I always add extra heat, so I just thought, oh, my hot sauce is off. And I'm like, oh, I need to go. And I made a note, need hot sauce.
Need hot sauce. Next errand.
It was me. It was just like,
yeah.
And I realized my taste was gone. I couldn't smell any of my oils because I only used essential oils.
Essential oils, yeah.
Yeah, I love lavender and honeysuckle. Honeysuckle's strong. Could not smell it. And I nearly cried.
Can I just say that I know it's going to sound terrible. This is something that has killed people. There are people who are, our last guest, Momo, was talking about her dealing with having COVID and long COVID. And so I don't mean to minimize that at all. But that is like my biggest fucking fear, is like not being able to taste anything and smell anything, but definitely taste. Like that would drive me, like mentally, I don't know that I could even function.
You know what? I think because the appetite was so bad that as long as I was able to eat bread, it helped. It wasn't until it was weird because I thought the same thing when my sister-in-law had it. She lost her taste, and it took her months to get her taste.
I was going to ask, how long were you without your sense of taste as well?
Probably about 2 weeks.
Oh my God, girl.
But you gotta remember, the first week and a half, I was like half dead.
Yeah. So that was like the least of your worries.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm telling you, my dramatic ass, they'd be like, Nina, you are bleeding from your toes. And I'd be like, but I can't taste this bread.
Put more butter, put more cinnamon on it. What's going on?
Yeah, fuck my toes. Get me some bread I can taste.
And damn, it would taste my coffee.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
I was like, I was cold and I was tired of tea, and I was like, I want coffee. And as soon as I was able to smell it. I was like, okay, this is a good sign. And I was able to taste it. I was so happy.
Oh.
I was just like, I sat in my bed, like, I can taste my coffee.
Now, this is going to be a very weird segue, and it'll get to, maybe it won't actually get to coffee, but one of the things I do on this thing that I've only done twice now, but there's no format. I don't prep questions ahead of time. I go strictly based off of what I know about you before we sit down and talk, whatever that may be, however I may know it, okay? But one thing that I'm going to ask everyone is how we know each other. Because not everyone, there's some people who are like, yeah, I was farting around iTunes, I found this podcast, and I've been listening ever since, you know? But some people, we know each other before I even really started this podcast, right? And I believe that you're one of those people. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say how I think we know each other, and then you're going to tell the truth, because I'm probably going to be wrong. That's why I want to go first. So everybody I bring on, I'm going to say it first, and I'll probably be wrong. Okay, ready?
Right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I think we knew each other from MySpace. No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. So we've known each other a long time.
Yes. A long ass time.
How? Because like I was blogging on MySpace before I got pregnant with Jack, and Jack's going to be 15 this year.
Yes. It was, I want to say a year. It was, I'll tell you how I found you. It was Big Brother James season.
Yeah.
That's how I found you.
Was that season 7?
I think so.
I think that's BB7. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And I was following James. All right. I was like, something with James. I was like, and you started talking. I was like, oh, a black girl who likes this. Okay, let's see what's going on.
Uh-huh.
And it was, and that's how I got into your blogs.
Oh, wow. That's so funny.
Yeah, it goes back a long ass time.
So what she's referring to is there is a reality show called Big Brother that I used to watch, and I was like hooked on it. And like my favorite season, probably like the heaviest I'd ever gotten into that show was season 7. And there was this big house alliance. I won't even go over the rules of the show. It doesn't matter. Look it up if you care. And one of the members in the house was this guy named James, right? One of the players in the game, part of this alliance that I loved. And so I have been blogging on MySpace and just basically like shooting the shit on the podcast. I would just talk about whatever the fuck I wanted. I would talk about any and everything, right?
I remember. And
until my dad found the blog that I wrote called The Good Girl's Guide to Fellatio. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I got it. I was like, my cheeks were like, you know, I'm dark skinned. My cheeks were red. I was like, oh my God, he's writing this shit down.
Yeah. So I would just write anything. I had like no filter. And I wrote about this shitty experience that I'd had at Waffle House. Not even like, just this, it was like the most recent, but I'd had several and I'd had enough. And I called it, because one of my readers, who also I followed her blog on MySpace, she was really into the Deftones, I think is their name.
Is that the band?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rap rock band, I believe.
Yes. And I wrote the title of was like The Waffle House of Flies. And because there was like flies in my food and on my menu, it was disgusting. And so I wrote this blog, and a lot of my blogs used to rank really high. So like if you go to MySpace and like look at the top blogs of the day in certain categories, right, there would be like a group of people who just like always had like top blogs in certain.
Yeah, you were always the top 10 because that's how my brother remembers you.
Huh?
My brother, he was like into MySpace, and whenever I refer to you, I say Nina from MySpace. He goes, "Oh, how's she doing?"
That's hilarious.
So as long as I say MySpace, he knows exactly who you are.
Okay. So James from Big Brother commented on that particular blog, like out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he found me in the top blogs. And because that title of my blog grabbed him, and he commented and read it, and he's like, "You're so funny." And then we just like became friendly. And then his girlfriend in real life was also on the show. And, you know, he's from Atlanta. And I was living in Atlanta at the time. I am again now, but back then. And she was organizing a surprise birthday party for him. And she reached out to me and asked if I would be a surprise. Like, she's like, because he loves your blogs and he thinks you're so funny. And it would be, and I wasn't going to go because I am ridiculously introverted, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. Really? Yeah.
No, I get it because my mom's the same way. She would stay in her house. I don't think she left the house in a month since yesterday was the first time she left the house in a month.
Yeah,
so.
and people, I know you guys give me crap about it, but like I think because I'm so outspoken, people find that hard to believe. But anyway, I'm an introvert, really. And once I get there, I'm fine. But like, it takes a lot for me to say yes to like go and do something. So I went, we became friendly, but I don't follow him anymore. And I think he might have finally unfollowed and unfriended me because he's super Republican. Yeah. And I used to joke with him. And say, you're the only Republican I can tolerate. And then Trump started and I could not anymore.
Yeah, I get that, because there's one thing to be a Republican and there's something else that's
right. There's something else entirely that I can't even. Yeah, and he was one of those like lock her up Republicans, and I was like, yeah, I can't.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we became friendly on MySpace, and then the great Facebook migration happened. Yes. And then a few years ago, like right before I moved to Oregon, I had started a website, and I believe for a time you wrote for the website.
No, I was going to
do music or something, right?
Yeah, I was going to. I think I was going to send you like my work, and I chickened out.
Okay, because then see, the reason I thought you did was because then, like at the time, I had this website and I had a partner, right? Mm-hmm. And we had a friendship, and then shortly, like while I was driving across country to Oregon, she betrayed me basically, and the friendship fell apart and the business fell apart and the website was relaunched into Project Fandom. So it was something else before. And one of the things that this person had done was went and started another website. And I thought for a time you wrote for her over there. And I
did an article with her because I didn't know what was going on with her.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wanted to I want to make it very clear to everybody listening, like she did what? I purposely, this was the beginning of me really kind of maturing in the way that I deal with people. I don't always get it right, but I purposely did not talk about it and blast her and do a bunch of stuff and all that stuff because I felt like it was expected of me to do that. And I would look like angry Black woman. It was a lot of factors involved. And so I didn't, and I did not, and I never gave people an ultimatum. Like, you can't be her friend and be my friend. I never, ever did that. Right. And as a result, the friends I have then, I still have now. Does that make sense? Like, I did the right thing.
Come between you and your friendships with those people.
Yeah.
And they made their friendship with her may have
right. If she did that, or if she said things to them that made them disconnect from me, that's one thing, but I never did that. I had no interest in that. And the people that I kept are the people like that I still have, that are still my friends and that I still know, and you're one of them. I completely just like erased her from my, you know what I mean? Yeah. So and I think that kind of brings us up to date, right? Like, we've been online friends and hadn't met in person until, tell everybody how we first met in person.
At the BTS concert?
Yes!
You're like, I'm at this truck and you told me what's ballooned fine and I found you. I was like, oh my God, this is like, I told my friend Robert, like, this is a moment. Having a moment. I was like, oh my God, this is it.
So, what was that, 2019, right? Before the world fell apart. May. Me and Kaylee flew to Los Angeles to see BTS at the Rose Bowl 2 nights. And you have like the best like story, I think. You remember, like, you have bought tickets like beforehand, and then tell everybody what happened. Like, so we met and then we were kind of like just like chilling, like waiting for the show to start, like outside before they let us in, and tell everybody what you did with your friend. Okay, so
we were just talking, and I'm not sure who brought it up. They're like, tickets were released, there could be better tickets. And I'm like, okay, we'll check. And then we, Robert and I are checking, and then we're like, okay. And then we're like, we see floor seats, and it was right by the second stage. And we were like, and I looked at him, he looked at me, he said, let's do it. He's like, are you cool with the price? I said, I don't care. I won't pay the phone bill. Let's just go. he said, okay. And we bought those tickets. We tried to get rid of our other tickets, but we're just like, we don't care.
Yeah.
On the floor. Mm-hmm. We were one section over from the main part.
Mm-hmm. I think you had better floor seats than I did.
That first night, I thought you were like right dead center. I was off to the side.
We were to like center right a little bit. We were behind you though, I think.
Oh, okay. I think you were a couple of rows behind me.
Yeah, we were close to that, the stage that, I don't know what you call it, the front stage. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not the main stage, but that stage that's kind of pushed out into the audience. Yeah, we were next to that.
Yeah, and the thing was, once the show really started, we all gravitated towards that stage.
Yeah.
And some like pushing back, but we were still like running towards the middle. Mm-hmm. And it was Robert and I still talk about that. It's just like, that was, oh, just check and see what they got. And you're like, come on, just check.
Yeah.
Let's warm. And we were like, okay, let's see. And I was like, these aren't bad. There was literally only $100 difference.
Yep.
And we were like, let's do this. He's like, we'll figure out the finances later.
Let's just get these tickets. Yeah.
I don't care. I paid extra. It was worth every moment. And we were just like, oh my God, this is happening. This is really happening.
It was so surreal because when we got there, we could hear rehearsal, and I could hear Jungkook singing Euphoria.
Oh, I think he came across the stage.
Oh God! Yeah, that's the first time, right? The concert, he was flying above us.
Yes. Oh my God! And we were like, "Is he flying? Is he flying?"
It was so much. Yeah, you know what? Because that was. I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
His name is Robert.
Oh, that was the kickoff of the tour, if you remember.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was the first night of the whole tour. So nobody had seen anything. Like, they didn't know that Jungkook was flying, and we were the first people to see that.
We were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So did I get you into BTS?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was not planning to get into mainstream bands at all. I was very much so into my little indie world, especially LA indie, and I did that. And you started like posting these pictures, and I'm like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I was being someone who's kind of like condescending, and I didn't give it a chance. Mm-hmm. I said, if I give an indie person who sounds like utter crap a chance, let me give these guys a chance.
Okay.
And so I decided because I liked Idol. I was like, that's a good song. Okay, that's good. And so I said, let me do what I always do with any band that has more than one album. I went through their whole entire collection.
I didn't know that you did that. I did it too, just to learn them because I was going to see that documentary. So it just felt like, I mean, that was my introduction to them, was taking my daughter to see this documentary. And I wanted to at least know things, So I did that, but I didn't know that you did that.
Yeah, I had just moved. I was going through like this emotional, like, me and my best friend no longer living together. And I'm like, I miss my best friend. And so I needed something to comfort me, and just working on that project of, let me get to know BTS helped me. And I was like, from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is not what I expected.
Right. Same.
That first album to, I think, Love Yourself. I was like, right. That was a huge change, but it was a good change.
Yeah. I keep telling people their discography is like immaculate. It's very, very good because you can see the growth. There's storytelling, there are bops, there are great ballads. Like, it's good. You may not like every song.
Right.
But you'll like a lot of songs. And there's something for everybody. Go ahead.
It was more than I expected. And like I said, I was just really shocked. And to know that they weren't together that long, to have that kind of growth, that kind of like, and then what I started doing, and then you and some other people started posting the practice thing.
Dance practices, yeah.
And then I started looking at that, and I'm like, well, damn, these guys don't ever sleep, know? So for me, BTS always has a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
They're always hustling. And that's what I love about indie music. Most of them are hustlers, and they're like, I'm going to get this song out. It could be they may have their best music during the indie years before they become famous. And that's what I like. I like their drive, their motivation, their desire. And it seemed like BTS had it at the very beginning, and it hasn't quit.
Yeah.
So that's where my fascination and my love for them keeps going. And even like when I first got into them, I was talking to my dad, and at first he was like, so why are you into this? And I'm like,
I know that question with that tone.
Yes. And so, but then he even picked up, he's like, oh, you like them because they work hard. He said, that's like why you're connecting to them.
Yeah. You're drawn to that. That's great.
Like, you're drawn to their dedication to their work. And he said, and that's what most people don't understand. They have to work really hard to get anywhere. And those guys sit there and they work very, very hard.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
So we had a very bonding moment, because he doesn't live in LA anymore. So it was like one of those lunches where he was in town, and I was like, oh, me and Daddy bonding. Okay. Well,
we're going to go back to that in a bit. We're going to go back to more music talk, but that brings up the like kind of bio section of this interview. But before I even do that, I just want to say really quickly, you talked about how you were going through a tough time and you decided to like dive into their music. There's an ARMY saying, if you guys are listening and you don't know that ARMY is the fandom name for BTS, what are you even doing? Like, do you not know me? Do you not love me? But there's an ARMY saying that, people find BTS when they need them most. Yeah. And I definitely connect to that. So yeah. But Nico, get out. My dog's panting in the mic. Sorry. So where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised.
Really? That doesn't surprise me, actually. Why am I saying really? I think I was expecting, you know what it is? I think because most people I know are from somewhere else and move a lot or have moved a lot. So I think I'm more shocked that I'm meeting people like Mo, our last guest, who are still living in the area in which they were born and raised. To me, it's just, I come across that so rarely, I think, that's where my surprise is. I'm not surprised that you're from LA, though, because you feel like an LA person, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Oh, thank you. Because, yes. I mean, when people talk about LA, I think they talk about the people who moved here and they put on the facade. Most Angelinos were very low key. We kind of like stick to our, it's not as flashy as you think. We know Hollywood. We're not gonna sit there and try it front. Right. We like to go places and do certain things, and it's sometimes it's just like you just find your group and your people and you stick to those people. So
that makes a lot of sense, because my limited experience with Los Angeles was, and I don't know, you might know about, well, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 46.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You are not 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Tamela, fuck you. No.
Yeah. I'm just really immature.
I thought you were, I would believe you're 29.
Oh, thank
I
you.
was thinking early 30s.
No. Nah.
Ma'am, you look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Holy shit. You just blew me. Okay, so you might know this then. There was this, back in like, I gotta remember how old my daughter is now, and that's always something. She was born in 99. So back in like 2000, 2001, there was this website, and I'm saying this because I'm assuming there were several. This is just one that I knew because I knew someone who, was doing, like, their company was doing some work for them, and it was called SoundCloud. Was it? No, not SoundCloud. No, wait, was it SoundCloud? No. It was, oh my God, I don't remember now, but it was an online radio station.
Oh.
And it would be the DJs, like, live streaming, like, playing the music, and you can see them, and they're sitting in a chat room talking with you. And that's where I found a lot of the bands that I knew, like from that time period, like Papa Roach, like I never heard of.
I didn't get into online radio until the 2010s.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Yeah, they were well done by then. But from the
fluctuating, I'm sorry. Go on.
But from kind of like with Project Fandom, like I guess I've always been this way when it comes to like online communities. Like there was like a group of us, and you know, it was like every day, you know, while you're working, just like we're in Facebook, we would be in this chat room, and you got music going, you could request songs, you know, and you know the DJs. Well, they were having like this big thing, and I flew out to LA, and that was like my first time there, like as an adult, like on my own, right? I'd gone out previously as a kid to visit my aunt, and that was even San Diego. And I was like everybody else who grew up watching shows like 90210 and, you know, or anybody who's just into pop culture, you can't help but want to at least once go to Los Angeles or maybe have dreams of living in Los Angeles, right? And I kind of had that in my head. Girl, look, y'all know me. I am hard to intimidate. Los Angeles intimidates the fuck out of me. It felt so isolating. That's the only way. I felt so isolated there. Even when I went to parties with friends, and even at parties, I just felt like I don't belong here. It didn't feel like a place that people live, if that makes sense. Although I knew people did live there. I had friends that lived there. I feel the same way about Las Vegas, though. So don't be offended, people listening.
Yeah, actually, I'm not offended at all. You know what? You said you're an introvert, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an introvert too. I classify myself as a oh shit, I forgot the name of it. Sorry. Sometimes I can go out. I can really go out. I can have a beer and I can talk to people. Mm-hmm. Then I have to go. Then there's times when but you remember this is pre-pandemic.
Right.
I used to go out. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I go to the bar, get a soda or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, my band comes on and then I bounce. There's moments, even as someone who's lived here her whole life, there's times when I cannot be around people. I can't deal with the fakeness. I can't deal with the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it could be, that's why I said there's airs, and it's really not. That's when you realize you're not with your people.
Right. And that's what I was just going to say. That's why what you saying, like finding your people, mm-hmm. and like that made a lot of sense to me because, you know, I didn't have people, you know, I was there visiting, but I could feel that. I could feel how this would be different if you had your people, if that makes sense. And I think about the people that I know mm-hmm. who live in Los Angeles, like you, like my friend Mandy, like Pialani. You guys have your core people.
Yes.
Lance, you know, and I should say the Los Angeles like area, because you don't all live in, I realize some, you know,
we
South, Long Beach, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, we live like at least 20 to 30 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
For me, for both directions, I'm right dead set in the middle.
That brings me to, actually, hold on, because I posted in a group, if folks wanted to ask you something, we're going to come back and forth to the, between this and me asking you questions. And Pialani just said, West Side Connection PFC crew, because that's what... Right.
She's the director of that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I love that. Can I just say that makes me so happy? You know, I was sitting in, you know, and it really sucks because I want to say I love Oregon. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But the last few years there, because of COVID, were really rough and also isolating. And then I was severely depressed. I got a health diagnosis, all of that. Everybody knows. You've been listening to the podcast, you know these things. Right. But it was always nice to see, while I was going through that, seeing you guys connected, you know, knowing that. And then think about that. Like, we met on MySpace 15 years ago, right? Through all of that, and now through this and the podcast and this and the group, you've met people that you would not have otherwise met.
Yeah. I mean, like,
it's crazy.
Lonnie, I'm mispronouncing her name, so I'm sorry. I want to say I'm a horrible person when it comes to connecting. I'm horrible because sometimes it's like I have to get myself under control to like go out.
Yeah.
You know, work is fine, mm-hmm. groceries is fine, but interacting with people sometimes is
same.
hard. And she has been like, when you're ready, you call me. And she's always great like that. Lance is the same way. There's times when we will hook up and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm talking to myself on my drive there. It's okay. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it'll be okay. And he's always been like amazing. And I'm going to tell you something about Lance.
Please do.
I was about to have surgery in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned that I had to go to IKEA and I had to get some stuff. And I never met Lance. And he said, do you want me to come over and help you put it together? And I said, that phone. I said, who the what? And first of all, I just felt like the biggest hug had came over me.
Oh my God. You just
he's like, no, seriously. I was like, no, don't worry. You know, me and my roommate, we got it. He's like, okay, if you need anything, you call me. I'm like, okay. And for someone to just reach out to you like that just, it hit me hard. And I was just like, and you know, I'm a few days away from like going to major surgery.
Yeah.
I'm crying. I'm like, I'm trying not to cry. But
Right.
I'm shaking, and you know, and I'm like, this person who I don't know other than
online, talking about TV, bullshitting,
right. He's just like, you know, if you need anything, you call me. I'm like, oh, okay, and it just so I'm sitting at IKEA wanting to cry because I'm thinking about his message, and I'm like, I never say anything, but I was just like, so whenever he's like, hey, let's try to get together, I want to make an effort. So when together, and Tiara, I'm sorry. I know we live like 10 minutes away from each other. I'm sorry.
Do you guys really? By the way, FYI, all the people we're mentioning were just online friends and, you know, friends in the group and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she and
Pialani?
Yes, I always see it in my head and I try to say it and my stutter starts to pop in. They live and work. Well, I think Tiara, she works and live out in that area. Mm-hmm. And I work in that area 2 days a week. So
gotcha.
So, but I get there at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I leave I bounce at 3:15. So
okay, yeah.
But it's like I know that they're there, and I'm like, I need to reach out more. I need to do better, and they've just been great people, and I'm like I want to say, like, even when I went through the surgery and everything, that your group, the PF family, saved me from days and days of depression because even though I was sitting there in pain, I would sit there and laugh.
Yeah.
Me like,
yeah.
Thank you for the laughter. And you know, no one understood, but I knew that it was saving me from like the tears. I had setbacks after setback, and I was just like, but I would go in that group and I'd be like, it's okay.
Yeah. You hear everybody listening. You hear that? See what you do for people?
Chicken on the left, chicken on the right.
Chicken on the left, chicken on the right. Ah, damn Devin. Damn Devin. I'm going to get his ass on here.
You don't call him enough.
And you know what? I'm sure he will listen to this. I want the record to show that I wrote that nigga on his birthday. And he just responded like a week and a half ago, like months ago on his birthday. He was like, how did I never see this? Yeah. So he always tell people I don't pick up his calls. I don't return his texts, but he don't tell people how he didn't see my birthday message. So, So one thing I want to ask you about a couple of things, but, yoga.
Yes.
Your relationship with yoga. Why don't you tell folks about that? Okay,
so I've always wanted to do yoga, and I've never felt comfortable going in places. And you know, being a big person, it was never right. Mm-hmm. I had a studio that was so great, and they guided me. They taught me like modifications and things like that. Don't be ashamed. And
right.
And it helped me embrace so much, and just like the love of it. Then I didn't realize it was helping me with my anxiety. I didn't realize it was helping me with my high blood pressure. I was diabetic back in my 30s, and I was always borderline. I've been shooting borderline. I added yoga, changed my diet. I'm now normal. So it was helping me so much with my health that it's just like, whoa. And so now when I need a moment just to like get back to the present and try to get rid of certain things, I just get on my mat. And some days, there's been many, especially since the pandemic, there's been many days I haven't been on my mat. But as soon as I sit there and I do like 15, 20 minutes, I feel a little bit more like myself.
Yes.
And then it's just that moment. I'm like, okay, there we go. And it could be, I can sit there in child's pose all day. I can sit there and it's that moment that I just connect with the mat, the present, the breathing of, just, and it's just take your time and that's where, where I'm at sometimes. Like even now I'm sitting here like trying to think of ways to get back, on my mat, because I was like, should I eat? But
I'm like, as you're talking, no kidding, I'm sitting here, I have my chin in my hand and I'm looking at my yoga mats. I'm looking at 2 yoga mats actually, and something else that I'll take a picture and send it to you, because my aunt is an instructor, one of my dad's sisters, and I went to see her like 2 weekends ago, and because I was telling her my mat that I had in Oregon, like I can't find it. We still need to unpack some stuff. We have a bunch of stuff in the garage, but like I have no idea where it is right now. So I was going to buy another one because that makes sense to me. Instead of searching through my garage, it makes sense.
No, they're expensive as hell.
Yeah, they are. And then, and she had recommended, where did I get mine from? Did I get mine from Lululemon? I think I did. But anyway, so she was like, no, I'll just give you some. So I have 2 that I'm looking at right now, plus this big like pillow, like this like cylinder.
Oh, like a boulder.
I don't know. She was like, I can't remember. She specifically asked if I was doing, I think it starts with an R, something work, restored or.
Oh, restorative yoga.
Yeah, and she was like, you should. And I'm like, okay. So she gave me that. And so what you were saying, though, I absolutely relate to, because I do not get on my mat as often as I should. Obviously, I haven't been, I did some prior to our stuff getting here, but I was using a towel from the bathroom.
I'm not the biggest fan because my knees are really bad.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. Yeah, I would not recommend.
I totally get it. Sometimes you just gotta get on the floor.
Right, so. Exactly. And but when I do, though, like you said, I'm always so appreciative that I did. And I always feel much more like myself, more connected to myself, more committed to myself. It is just, and of course then you wonder, like, why don't you make the time more often? But yeah, so I just that really resonated with me. Okay.
And also when you're at home, things always get in the way.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's work. It's walking, make sure my dog's out of the way, or she likes to just jump on me when I'm doing yoga. It's always something.
Would you like to tell people what you do for work? I'm sorry, I'd asked Momo. You don't have to share if you don't want to.
I'm an accountant for a law firm. Yeah.
Listen, so Momo works for a law firm as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is look at 2 Black women 2 weeks in a row, both working for law firms. Okay, all right. So I mean, you have a real job.
I have a job
with real responsibilities, I should say. So when you say that, when you're working and you have this on your mind, like you have big responsibility in your job.
Yeah, it's especially working from home, it's easy to just lay in bed and just like,
girl, don't I know it. Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those, like, make sure my job is done, and as much as I want to like go further into yoga, like I'm not so much work at a studio, but work with people who are afraid to go to a studio. I don't really have that time. Yeah. But I will make that time. So when, like, my sister just got into yoga, I'm like, when you want to do more than your 3 poses, call me, or I will like send her a Marco Polo, and I'm like, okay, this is for meditation, and I will go through it. I say, I just went through all the steps. I say, don't forget to breathe, Tasha. Don't forget to breathe. And she's like, thank you.
Oh,
so I will make the time when you want to make the time, and I will encourage anyone who just, if they need 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I believe in making the time. If they just want someone just to, just
give
be
them that push. Yeah,
and not
motivation.
And just, it's okay if you don't look like Instagram girl, because I sure as hell don't.
Right.
I mean,
Lord,
a lot of times
for a long time. Go ahead.
And so I'm like, don't ever be afraid of your body. As much as I would love to do a headstand, I can't, not anymore. But one day I'll get there, and I'm not going to push myself or hurt myself anymore. Because that's another thing. I don't like hurting myself. Yeah. And so I just say, be gentle to your body, and your body will do amazing things later on.
This is the other thing. You mentioned your sister that I wanted to ask you. And I don't know a way to ask this other than, I was like, I feel like one of your sisters. Wait, how many sisters do you have? Do you have 2?
No, I just have 1.
You just have the 1. Okay. Your sister is kind of somebody. No?
Oh, my sister's a hermit.
No. Why did I think, okay, why, you know what? Oh my God, I might be mixing you up with somebody else. That's embarrassing.
It's okay.
Oh my God, hold on.
She's somebody.
Let me take a drink. No, I legit thought your sister, what is your, well, if you don't have to answer if you don't want to. What does she do?
She is a photographer, graphic artist at home in her home business.
I feel like your sister's somebody. Maybe I didn't mix. I just feel like, I don't know. Maybe I am mixing you up with somebody.
No, yeah, she's literally someone who is behind the camera. She's really gotten, like, the last 5 years, she's gotten back into her photography, but she is.
Oh my God. You know what? I think I know who I was thinking was your sister. Never mind. Okay. Somebody also from MySpace, oddly enough, but she's not friends on my, like, okay. So you guys know I have several Facebook accounts because I don't know how to act.
You have like 4, right?
Yeah. I don't know how to act. And so every time, like, I would make a new one, and I'm not doing that anymore, but every time I would make a new one, it was like a fresh start. You know what I mean? So you just kind of like bring the people over, like the coolest, right? Like, like, oh, I can just say what I want to these people. I was trying to keep it small, keep it intimate. But then I felt bad because, like, some people got left behind. Some people are like 2 accounts ago. You gotta. I think you have made the cut every trip, every account, by the way.
Thank you. Yay.
Okay. So I am terrible. So what I do when I post statuses, I tag all of my accounts so they can still see, like, oh, she's still alive. She's okay. But I don't think they can comment unless they're friends with the main account that posted that post, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay,
you see what I'm saying?
You do your other, like the 3rd one. Okay.
Right. So I'm operating now on like the 3rd or 4th one, like the one with the accents in both my names. That's the one that I use all the time. And the others I tag. And if you're friends with those others, you see those statuses. But you can't comment because you're not friends with the name with the accent that posted the status.
Because you're like private on one of them, right?
Kinda, yeah. Like it's just the way it works. Like the friends of people tagged can see my statuses, but they can't comment.
People are like, wait, what about me? What about
me? So, and it works for some relationships, right? Like we don't talk anyway. So like, what the hell do you, so anyway, I think I'm still friends with her on one of those accounts. And I think her sister is like a news anchor or something.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not my sister.
Oh my God. But a photographer, graphic designer is lovely and fine too.
Yeah, she is a behind the scenes person. You would, like, people think that she will want to be in front of the camera. She's like, hell no. She likes being behind the camera. She wanted to be a director at one time. So she's like, I have very creative siblings. Like, wow. I'm the least creative, but like my brother is like, when he was like, before he had a kid, he was like doing art, and my sister, she's always doing photography. Another brother, I don't think he did. I don't know what he does. He's on the East Coast. We don't talk much. I love him. I grew up with like in between two very creative people, and I'm like, hi, I'm Tammy.
But okay, I was going to ask, because you're so into music and you don't play any instruments.
No, sadly, I have no.
Can you dance?
No, I can't stay on beat.
Oh my God! Is your dad white? I'm just kidding.
No, my dad is a very handsome black man. I have 3 guitars. I have a Fender. I have 2 electric guitars, and I have an acoustic guitar, and I can't play either one.
Oh my God! You are like every white guy I've ever dated. Always had guitars, never played them.
Yeah, well, the Fender I won at South by Southwest.
I was going to ask about that. You attend South by Southwest like almost every year, right?
Almost every year. I didn't go this year because I'm going to Ireland and London in June.
Oh, check you out.
Yes, when you find out the reasons why, you're going to be like, Tammy.
If I could do an accent, I would do one now. Now, tell us why you're taking your ass to Ireland and where else?
I'm going to Slane Castle, and I'm going to Wembley for Harry Styles.
Oh my God. Tamela.
Okay, listen, Nina, listen.
Tamela.
Listen. Okay, work with me here, okay? The tickets in LA for Harry Styles was running like $400, and I was touching the ceiling. I'm like, nah, not for that man. I don't know him that well, right?
Mm-hmm. So was your plane ticket free? Because otherwise, I don't understand.
Okay, so then my friends and I were joking, like, oh, let's just go to London. And the tickets were $167. So we said, well, let's just make it a whole trip.
You know what? I'm not even mad.
Ireland came about because it was cheaper to fly into Ireland and then just hop over to London.
Right,
like,
right.
Okay, we're going to do Slane Castle. And next
European travel is the fucking best, isn't it?
I love traveling. And this time I'm going with people instead of being by myself. So I'm super excited. My friend who's organizing it, she's like a retentive teacher. And she's like, she has a whole itinerary.
That's so great that you don't have to do the work.
No, because last time it was so easy for me. I had people to stay with. And in Manchester, I had a friend out there. She's still out there. We're going to visit her. But I had someone in London who I worked with, but now she's back in the United States. I'm like, oh, so that means I got paid. So that's the only difference.
You're like, I can't sleep on a couch. God damn it.
Yes. And then her roommate had left, so I was able to stay in her room for like a week and a half. So
oh, wow.
My last trip was so cheap. And I will say this time it's not.
Right. No, but I get it. Like, I get it. Yeah.
And I'm going to be with the people I usually go to South by with. I'm going to be with them. So it's like, I know we're going to have fun. Literally, before you came on, we were talking about our outfits. And I said, I'm not spending no money on a Harry Styles outfit. How come I have $200 in Shein in my cart?
Well, it's from Shein. It doesn't really count. So, like, that's like, yeah.
But you gotta understand, through COVID, I shopped like I was going out. So I had clothes.
You should have the clothes, is what you're saying.
I should, but those are COVID clothes.
Yeah, you know what? What is that? I'm so glad you said that, because I did the same thing, and it's weird. Oh my God, COVID clothes. That is absolutely a thing, because I've been going out more, right? I've decided that I am faking it until I make it. I am faking happiness after my dad's death until I'm really happy, right? So I'm just like staying busy, going places, doing things with friends. And I've had to like, oh, what am I going to wear? And I've had like nicer options, things that I bought during COVID when I thought, oh yeah, you'll be going to Korea or whatever. And I like hesitate to wear that stuff. It's like it's tainted, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense because I couldn't understand why I wasn't wearing certain things, and I would just put them back in a basket. Like I have a underbed storage area, and I'll take it out and I'll put it back. Now that makes sense. For some reason, it is tainted. It's tainted by being stuck in the house.
Yeah, and probably like the depression that we were obviously feeling when we bought it.
Yeah. Oh God, that's why I had to stop. Amazon has that outlet area, right? So
yes.
There was a point I was sitting there buying all kinds of crap that, to this day, I don't know where it's at. It's stuck in my closet all over between my dog toys and that. My room is a hot ass mess because I'm like,
I found a bag. I found a purse in my closet when we were packing to move back here that I was like, I do not remember buying this. But clearly I bought it. COVID shopping.
The COVID shopping, it was bad, and I had to really stop because I ran out of room.
Yeah.
Storage containers in the back of the house. I'm like, this is ridiculous now. And the sad part is, I have not gone back to those storage containers, and I'm like, maybe I don't need those clothes.
You could always like either depending if you need the money or not, like donate them. Like some good can come of it, but you have to actually do it.
I have to actually go back there and do it. And what I'm afraid of is that when I see it, oh no, I can wear this. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I do have a huge bag of stuff I want to donate. But how come it's still in my home?
We are so the same. I do the same thing. It's like you go through your stuff with the intention of downsizing. Mm-hmm. So something has to go, but like everything you sort of reconsider. You haven't looked at this thing in 6 months. You haven't looked at this thing in years. Suddenly you're like, well, maybe.
And I have not made much work. And like I forced myself the night I got COVID to wear a couple of things that I bought during COVID on purpose. Now that is super.
Now that's super tainted. Those are your those are really COVID clothes.
Outfit is going into the bag. In fact, I just washed it. I said I don't want to ever wear this again.
Oh,
I'm like, no, thank you. I'm done, and I'm over that whole outfit because I associate that with getting COVID.
It has cooties now. Katoria, right?
Yes.
Okay, so she sent in a question. You kind of already talked about this a little bit. She was asking about getting into yoga and how long you've been practicing. But then she asked, being in Los Angeles, do you feel there is more or less body inclusivity in the yoga space? How have you navigated it through your own learning and practice? You kind of touched on that as well. And then she says, and hey, girl, this is for both of you. Hey, girl. So if there's any additional things you want to add in answering Katoria's question, you can.
Yeah, I definitely feel that I've walked into studios where they kind of looked at me and like, oh, you need to go to the beginner class. I'm like, bitch, okay. So I've been to those kind of studios where I walk in just to get information about it, and that's also helps me do the vibe check, and that they don't pass that front desk don't pass. I don't go back. You don't get my money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So then I follow certain studios I've been following online, and I get a vibe check from them. And I'll go take a class, and if I feel good in there, or I don't feel like it's like looking at me weird, or other students aren't looking at me weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I can come back to this. And and then I have gone back to my old studio because I still have a location near the beach. And I go there sometimes to be recharged because those instructors know how to make people feel good when you walk in.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference for someone who's afraid to go to the studio, because I've heard this a lot. They don't like how they're judged, the judgment in someone's eyes. When I walked into the studio that I found by my job, there was no judgment. It was, come on in, have a seat. Do this.
You know what that reminds me of? I don't know if you've seen her on, I think probably TikTok, because you're on TikTok a lot.
Oh God, too much, yeah.
Look, I didn't say that. You said that about yourself. I just said that you're.
No, I will admit I'm on there way too much. I can't look at it after 7:30 p.m. because I'll be on there till 2:00 in the morning.
That's so
no lie. No lie. I said, 20 minutes at 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to wake up.
Kaylee and I just talked about that. I was like, I go to TikTok when someone sends me one. I don't understand like using it in that way, like scrolling through it like the way I do Twitter. And she was like, because you have to like go and engage with stuff that you like so it learns.
Yes.
So when you're scrolling through, you're seeing like BTS and anime stuff. And I was like, okay. So we just had this conversation like a week and a half ago. And I was like, I need to do that.
It won't find anything for you.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we don't know how to.
That makes sense.
But me, I'm all over the place, especially during the height of COVID. I was on there like nonstop. And I found out that was like messing up my sleep because I literally would not go to sleep between shopping and TikTok. I was a hot ass.
Oh God, COVID had us all down bad, whether you had it or not, right? Like it was
jacked up. I'm not gonna lie. I drank too much.
Oh my God, me and edibles, we were so intimate. Like so many studies are gonna come out about those COVID years, and how much shopping was done, how much depression we all went through.
That's why Jeff Bezos made so much money off of us, because we were like,
bastard.
Here, take my money. I mean, I'm still paying off credit card bills from that. So, it was. Oh God, I forgot where I was going.
Oh no, I was saying that the woman on TikTok, what you're saying, it reminded me of. What you're saying that you got from, going to places where they welcome you in a certain way. There's a woman who runs a clothing boutique for plus size girls, and she'll have videos of young girls shopping for like prom dresses. And as they're trying on the different dresses, she's taking the video and she's just positive affirmation after positive affirmation. Oh, you look like a princess, honey. Turn around. And oh, look, I love this color on you. Yes. And look, it has pockets. And like, it makes such a difference. You can see from like how they're all like in the beginning a little timid and, and you can just imagine that they probably don't see things that are nice and flattering in their size at other places. And you could just see the difference as the videos go on, their confidence, their shoulders change. Like, it's great. I'll have to find it.
Really important. I mean, as a teenager who was definitely fat and as an adult and everything. And it was like, sometimes I would have to like, do pep talks. Like, you can go into this room, you'll be fine. I mean, so I've always dealt with that.
Really?
And yeah, it was just, it was always like, it was just always rough. And I always had to say, it's okay. One thing my mom has always said to me that I still always think about is not that I'm trying to be conceited. It's just, it helps. She's like, listen, you fat, but you're not ugly. So don't worry about that. You just fat. And when you lose that weight, you'll be fine. It's okay.
So let me ask you, seriously, I want to, if you don't mind. So this idea that you would have to give yourself like a pep talk to walk into a room, right? Is it because you thought people were looking at you and judging your size? Or because in your experience, that's what happened? Or was it something you felt like if you're walking into a room of new people, or is this something like in school, whereas people you see all the time? Did you have the same trepidation?
In school, a couple of things were happening. I had lost a sibling, so I was depressed. So I felt like everyone could see my sadness. So I was trying to like disappear, but and then it was trying to fit in, but knowing you didn't know how to fit in. So school was really rough in that sense, but at the same time, people were always, I had bullies, but I didn't have certain kind of bullies. I had people who were like, after a while, people just kind of left me alone, which was great. But as an adult, it was, when I walked in the room, I felt like they just saw fatness. And especially when I hit a certain weight, I felt like one time I was walking down the hall and this guy kind of moved to the side of the wall, like to give me room. I felt like, shit, how big am I? So it was that kind of situation where I just started to feel very huge, and I just wanted to shrink. And it's those kind of things. So when I go into a new space, and I don't know anyone, I really have to like motivate myself, like it's going to be okay. Just walk in there with your confidence. And so sometimes I would do what I call the runway walk, where I'm like, I know I'm the badass bitch, and I'll just walk that way knowing deep down I don't want to go run under
the faking it until you make it, like pushing that confidence. Well, I want to say, like, no disrespect to your mom, but like, it's okay to be pretty and fat. Like, it's okay to be, and I say this as someone who absolutely struggles, because I was not overweight my whole life, like young at all. I was the exact opposite. And it wasn't until like the past decade or so, honestly, after Megan died, that I've like, it's just been fluctuating back and forth, and it's been really, really hard for me, to the point where we do those like reaction videos, I don't even look at them, because no, Donnie does them, and then I just upload it, like, because if I have to look at myself, you guys would never get those videos. Because I would pick it apart, and I would be, because I think in my head, I still look like I did when I was 25. Does that make sense? No, and when I'm confronted with things that tell me and show me that I'm not, it's really, really hard. So I say that, it's okay to be pretty and fat, because I know that it's true, but I absolutely understand what your mom is saying and what you're saying, because as someone who's dealing with what I just said, I know that the world doesn't work that way. Like, the world doesn't treat us that's like that way. You know what I mean? The world doesn't treat us like it's okay to be pretty and fat, Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say, like, it wasn't like when my sister was like overweight, she used to do like, try to find modeling for like the BBW magazines and stuff like that. And that helped me out a lot. And I think, and I understand what my mom where she was coming from. Even
right.
She's crazy, right? but it also gave me the confidence that, you could be big and you can be beautiful. And it was just like, that's always why I have a lot of the BBW in my name. Just like, I am, it's not only am I big, but I am beautiful. And I embrace it.
Do you want to know something? I didn't realize that's what that was until I was typing your name for Skype for this call. I've seen it for years talking to you online. I've seen it, talking to you on Twitter and stuff. And I did not even consider it until I was typing it, and I wondered if that's what it stood for. Because honestly, like I said, I've met you. It was just that once. I know we joke about the COVID years. So this was like 3 years ago. I would not guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a way to say this. I would not guess someone your size, or at least the size you were in 2019, would feel the way you just described.
I'm glad I faked it very well.
I just, I mean, I'm a big girl, I guess, because I don't know. Well, I do know. I know what we're comparing ourselves against.
Right.
So I get it. I don't have the answers, but I get it.
Yeah, and you gotta understand, like, God, man, I got like 400 pounds at one time. Well, 330. So.
Oh, okay.
I was big, and I still associate sometimes with that. I don't want to ever that, but it's simple fact that it was more for losing for health and everything. But I still associate with that part of me. Is still a big part of me, but it's the fact that I just like to Yep.
And so everybody, that's her dog Sirius, and I know about you. Your dog named. Well, I'm assuming it's after that character because it's spelled that way.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know the trippy part about that? I realized why I love that character is because it reminded me of my sibling who passed away.
Really?
It was a TikTok. So why did you name your dog that? And I was sitting there like talking, and I was like, and it just hit me that my brother died when he was 25, 15, and in and out of jail, and really smart. And Sirius was my Guyland, or my Guyland was Sirius.
Yeah.
Where I literally was walking Sirius, and I was like, started to cry because I was like, oh God, it reminds me of Guyland, and who's my, and it was that's why I connect to that character so much. That's why I will ride hard for that character, because I'm like, he wasn't given a chance, and Guyland didn't take his chance, and so it hit me like literally a couple years ago that why she was named after that character. And why to that character.
And I don't know if we ever fully said the character Sirius Black, right?
Yes, Sirius from Black.
Wouldn't it be really awkward if I was like Sirius Jones from the
No, and I get the you mean like the astro, the stars, you know?
No.
Yeah, no.
I mean like the wizard.
In LA. I have not seen a star in like 10, 20 years.
Nice. Okay, well, speaking of TikTok, you have a question from Pialani.
Okay.
Please ask her to tell the story that she posted on TikTok about her thirsty store manager trying to catch her dad's eye.
Oh my God.
What? What even is that?
Okay, so it was a story on TikTok. Someone was talking about their parent who's really good looking, and I had a story, and I was like, oh, so I stitched it. So my dad, back in the day, I didn't notice it, but apparently other women did. He was a good looking guy.
Okay.
And now in his 70s, he's a good looking guy. I admit it. I'm like, okay, fine, my father's attractive. But he would come visit me. I worked at Robinson at the time, and he came in, and my manager had never met him. And when he left, she's like, "Damn, that's your daddy?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my God, Mr." Oh, I almost said my last name. I was like, "Yeah." So anytime he would come up, I was like, oh, I have to take lunch at this time because my dad's coming up. She's like, your daddy coming? Okay. And she would run and go put on makeup and be like, hi, how you doing? One time he came up and I wasn't in the area. She's sitting there flirting hard. Oh. That mother found out. And she's like, you tell him that he's married. I'm like, dude, he is not looking at this little girl. He is not, because she's only like a year older than me. And she's like, hey, you let her know. We're married. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, but y'all don't understand. That's my dad. And I had another friend. Oh God, every time I talk to her, she's like,
how your daddy doing?
What's your point ass daddy doing? I'm like, he's fine. And then like we're like in a group of people, and mind you, this is one of those situations where I'm with people I really don't know, but I know her, and she's like, yeah, her daddy is fine. Y'all need to go over his. I'm like, you're not going over to his house. Okay?
Now listen, you know I need to see a picture now.
No.
Oh, if I don't see a picture by the end of the weekend, I'm going to be upset. I got to see now.
My dad is, I'm not like, to me, he's dad, he's Southern. I think he's charming. I would say this, both my parents are uber charming. They're more charming than me, anybody.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to say about your parents.
Thank you. Literally, my mom can talk to anybody. She will put that on and make you feel comfortable. My dad would do his Southern way, like, how you doing? You know,
where is he from? You say he's Southern. Where is he from?
Natchez, Mississippi.
Say it one more time.
Natchez, Mississippi.
Spell that.
Natchez.
Chez. Ah, okay. I think I may have seen that somewhere, but I've never had to say Natchez, Mississippi. Okay. Oh, so he's Southern.
He's Southern.
Okay.
And then his ex-wife, not ex-wife, she passed. She was Southern. They lived in the same town when they were growing up. So, I had these very charming parents, and then there's me and my siblings who looking at each other like, oh, we gotta talk.
So how did you guys end up in Los Angeles?
My aunts moved here, and my dad followed because he's the youngest of 6. And then my mom, her mom moved here, and then she eventually came over when they were kids.
It's interesting. Moved here from where?
My mom, I want to say she was in Detroit for a long time, but she grew up in Mississippi. Like, she moved around when she was a kid.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I was going to say, I can hear you. It was just something about the phrasing. I thought you meant she came over from, like, another country.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just somewhere, she went from the South to the East and then to LA.
I think it's really interesting because you and I are around the same age, and hearing you talk about how your family came to be, from one place, because one sibling moved and then they followed. It's very similar to like how my family has ties and kind of, home the roots are in New York, but we all just kind of eventually, my Aunt Tina, who I was talking about earlier, went to college here. She went to Clark, and then everybody just kind of followed. So that's how Georgia kind of became like the Perez second home.
I almost moved to Georgia. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was like my sister had moved there, and my sister's like my second mom, and I was like, well, maybe I should go out there, and housing was like decent. And
yeah.
Room house, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and I really thought about it. I think I even contacted you. I was like, what is it like out there?
Oh, you might have. I think I remember that. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. And I said no. I think that the pay was like really low. And I was like, I'll stay here. And the funny part is I'm glad I kind of stayed because after she left, my oldest brother left like years and years ago. But then my younger brother moved to Vegas. And so it's just me here with my mom. So, and then my dad moved. So I'm living by myself.
Yeah. And so, and if you hadn't, like, she would be alone.
Yeah. I'm thankful that I was here for the situation that she's been through since COVID. So,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like now everyone has migrated everywhere else. So LA is where everyone comes back to for home, but they're all everywhere else.
So who is your favorite indie band? Currently, like, who are you listening to now?
Indie, it's moving around. It's been moving around. Bianca is someone who I enjoy. She's they. They produce their own stuff, writes from COVID to today, has out songs every few months. Just works harder than any, like one of the new artists that.
Sorry, my dog's being an asshole. Go ahead.
He's like, I need to be heard. They can work hard and just self-produce and.
And what's the name again? Bianca or Bianca?
Biiaco.
Biiaco. Okay, I'm writing that down.
It's like tech, pop music. Always has a video, and even on TikTok, they'll do how-to on how to produce your own music. So,
that's really cool.
Yeah, and when I realized the work that they put into their own music, the beats and all that stuff, I really found this new respect, not only for her, but all musicians. Even if I may not like your stuff, the fact that you went through all certain things that they probably went through, it's it's a little more respect in that.
So how do you find these artists though? Like, how do you?
I found Bianca from her last group, last group. I want to say it was Ghost Seasoning, something like that. I haven't listened to their music in so long. I've been only listening to their current stuff. But it was also a show I went to, like somewhere in LA. I found them, the whole band, and then when they decided to do some solo work, I followed that. So It's always a concert or someone working with someone else. That's how I find a lot of things.
So this just occurred to me. If you're taking your ass over to Ireland and England and all that for Harry Styles, I know you got sugar tickets, right?
No. I was waitlisted.
Okay, it's not your fault then.
Yeah, it's not my fault, because I even told my friends, I was like, well, maybe it's a good thing, because I was going to spend like a chunk of my money. But I also told them, if tickets become available, I'm buying them. I will buy them. And I mean, literally, he's playing at Kia. That's literally 3 miles from my house.
Wow. You see someone from the group, I don't even know if I'm going to say her name right. Iwa? She is coming, she's like you, international travel for a concert. She's going to see him in New York. She's new Army, very new.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's going to see Sugar in New York?
Huh?
She's going to see Sugar in New York?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited for her. It's, and it's great because with the, Jen, with the hiatus and Jen enlisted and J-Hope about to go in, it's nice that, Army still has stuff,
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a hiatus at all.
It feels like there's more, I feel like I'm doing more, like looking up this and that. And I'm
yeah.
I have to take a break. So I'm like, Jesus.
It doesn't feel like it's slowed down for me. It's just always something with them. Between that and like Jenny's Kitchen on Amazon Prime and J-Hope stuff, they're still just present,
They do a lot. And I guess now that it's separate, they're doing even more. And now, drooling over pictures and nips and, I'm like, JK showing his titties. I'm like,
oh, they wildin'. They wildin' on hiatus.
Sorry.
So we have another question for you from Julie. She wants to know, which fictional universe would you like to live in? Nika, move. Come here.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I said, don't hate me.
Oh, why? Really?
Yeah, I love I love that. I didn't realize this until I want to say a few years ago, probably before my first trip to the UK. Mm-hmm. I like that world. I like the thought of magic. I like the thought of different types of magic. I like it was a universe that was created. It is forcing me to look for other authors who are doing the same thing.
Gotcha.
So it's more or less like it expanded a world that I was kind of iffy on, and I like that. And that's the part I like. It's not so much her.
No. Like, I was just gonna say, like, none of us knew at the time that she was a turfy cunt. We didn't know.
I know, and I'm like, I'm so deep into it, and my dog is me. Come on.
Right. Like, no, I don't begrudge it. Listen, I read all the books, went to see all those movies. Yes. I love that world too. I get it. I don't know why. It's so obvious, serious that would be your answer. But hearing your why, like, it's just fascinating. No, that was a great answer, and I get it.
Thank you.
You're fine.
I'm just happy. I mean, as much as I love Twilight, I'm glad I was like, okay, I'm glad I moved on from that. Okay.
Do you talk to Sarah a lot?
Yeah, when I try not to be weird, but yes.
Wait, what does that mean?
I mean, sometimes I get goofy and like overbearing, and I'm like, I have to calm myself down. I'm like, Because, sometimes people are like, where's this coming from? So I'm like, okay, there's times where I'm super quiet, and then all of a sudden I'm like, ah! And I'm like, and I don't always know the balance, so I will draw back just to like leave the room, like, and then I'll come back and then I'll run away. Come back.
Well, I just feel like you guys have similar tastes.
Yes, when I said ceremony, I was like, yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
It's a fan fiction shipping of Hermione and Draco.
Yes. Also, do you watch Shadow and Bone?
Yes, I finished it, so.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I am only 2 episodes into the 2nd season, and I podcast that with Sarah, and we had a little, we realized we are in different, like, ships.
Really?
For the show, yeah. The podcast will be out probably later today when I'm done talking to you. Like I said, I got a lot of editing and publishing to do. So when you listen to it, just know that, yeah, we realize that we are on different sides.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll surprise you to know like who's on which ship. But I won't say anything. I'll let you listen to it.
All right. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, it has been really nice talking to you and getting to know you better.
I know after 15, 16 years, yeah, we should finally have a conversation.
Right. I know we did. Oh, you know what? I do want to tell people this part of the concert story, like us meeting. So yeah, we'd known each other for all those years and only met for the first time at this BTS concert. And I was with my daughter and a friend from online, and like you said, you were with your friend Robert. Is that his name?
My BTS friend.
Yeah, and then there were some other ladies we knew, and so when we went inside, we went to our seats, and I think like you were going to the concession stand, and you asked if I wanted anything.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked for another lemonade because I'd had a lemonade, I think. And you got it for me. And I tried to pay you. And you were like, girl.
I mean, you had just directed me to Great Seas. You think I was going to, like, yeah, give me my $7 for that lemonade. I'm like, and that's more lemonades do you want? Because I'll go get them.
And that's exactly what she said to me. So I was like, but like, and that was the first night, and I got so sick. I don't know if did I tell you? I'm pretty sure I told you. I don't know if you remember.
I think I heard it on another podcast.
Yeah.
It still makes me mad because I'm like, oh.
I got so sick because I had been doing keto.
Oh.
So that weekend was my first time eating bread and sugar in like months.
Oh, yeah. That overload.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
Yeah. And so I was like, thank God that I got that lemonade and that I drank the whole thing and that the cup was so big. And it was like a plastic cup with the lid with the straw through it because that's what I vomited in at the concert. Was that?
I'm like, no.
Yeah. So like, I'll never forget, like I missed like mic drop.
And they were dropping right in front of you.
Yes. And I had my head down between and all I could think about was, Kaylee's like rubbing my back and looking at me. And at one point I said, don't look at me, look up there, because I didn't want to ruin her experience, Yeah. And I was like, these tickets cost a grip. You don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm just throwing up my entire guts.
See, that's what bread will do to you, but then you're like, I need more, so yeah.
And then no, fuck that diet. I've just decided, that I'm gonna be fat and happy. You better not start barking. Sorry, Nico.
Wait, I want to ask you something. Did I tell you about the time at the BTS concert, the one in LA last year, that I almost got kicked out?
No.
Okay, so sit down. Okay, so
oh my God.
Robert flew out, and we went and got drinks, and I was able, someone else at another sale was able to get me floor seats. Mm-hmm. So technically I was on same area, different side. Okay. So I was like, cool, we're happy. So we're SoFi is so huge that we didn't know how to get to the floor. So we're walking around, people misdirecting us,
Mm-hmm.
So some go on the second floor, go all the way down. We do that. We went the wrong way. So Robert and I are just walking. I have my drink in my hand, wearing my mask, so I'm not drinking.
I remember now. Go ahead.
And I'm like, the fuck? What is? And all of a sudden, sound is gone because I was able to hear the audience before. Sound is now gone. And I'm walking, and I'm like, this should not be here for the audience. Like certain things in the background, just like, what?
Right.
Why is it here? And then all of a sudden, I see a vehicle. No, Robert's like, oh, look. It says BTS. I look. It was a vehicle for the BTS for the guys, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And all of a sudden, I look up. Everything is in English and Korean. And I'm shaking. I am shaking, and I'm like, Robert. I'm trying to whisper loudly. Let's go, Robert. He's like, "Oh, look at this. He is so happy." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" All of a sudden, I hear, "Hey!" I'm like, I turn around. I was like. And I put that fake is like, hello! I'm lost. And he's looking at me, and I'm trying to explain, and all of a sudden I see a couple of guys just arrive. Now, Robert was like, when Robert and I talked about it, and it dawned on him the next day, when the security guy saw us, it was two guys. It was just him and another guy.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we turned around, there was 5 additional guys.
Were they Korean or were they?
No, just they work for SoFi and they were ready. They were not smiling. And
oh my god!
Like, and mind you, I had this drink that ice is just melting, and so the guy who you could tell he works with the Korean security.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's looking at me like, you lying bitch. I'm like, I ain't lying, sir. I ain't lying. And so the guy, he's like, oh, he said, what exactly were you told? I said to come off and go left. And he said, no, you were supposed to go right. And I'm like, okay. He said, so go back to the elevator. You know, to not the second floor. You have to go to a certain, I think it was a 3rd floor.
Jesus Christ.
When you see like it was like I want to say it was a bar, and it was like some kind of boutique. He said that's where you know you're at the right place. Then you're gonna go down those stairs and you'll go to your seat. I was like, okay. So we're walking. I was like, and Robert's just like, oh, that's we were close to the bed. I was like, little boy, let's go.
Girl, you were about to be deported from your own country.
Exactly. So I was like, come on. And we get there, we do it. And I mean, we get to the right place. But no, before we get to the elevator, we passed the wrong elevator. All of a sudden I hear, hey! And we look back, it's that big guy. He's like, that elevator. And he's not happy. And he's walking us to the elevator.
I mean, somebody should have did that to begin with then.
Exactly. Everybody was telling us to go all the way around. It was really, we were just told not to go. I mean, everywhere they told us to go, it was a dead end. Mm-hmm. So he watches us get on the elevator. He tells the operator, hey, make sure if they don't have this badge, they don't come on this floor. And she's like, I know that. I was like, but you let me on this floor because I was on your elevator. But okay. So we go to the right floor. We're finally there. And I know what's going on. Robert's like, do you want another drink? I say, yes. I finally downed the drink I had in my hand. I started sweating and shaking so much. I called Moji because I had her number last because I took her to the concert like the week before.
Right.
She was in town, so I dropped her off, and so I had her number. And I'm calling her. I'm shaking. My glasses are fogging up. I can't. Moji. She's like, calm down, Tammy. It's okay. I'm like, what are you gonna say? I was gonna get out. And I'm just like, I am perspiring through my outfit. I was wearing a suede jacket. I think I perspired through that. I was hot. I couldn't see. And I had to put on my mask. I was in this corner just hyperventilating. And I'm like, Moji. And she's okay. That girl calmed me down. She calmed me down. And I'm like, she's like, it's okay. And then Robert comes with my drink. And I gulped it. I was like, okay. I was like, go get me. I was like, I gave him my credit card. I said, go get 2 more. Go get 2 more.
You know what's funny? Because I realized I had heard this because I don't know if you remember. I think you posted in our BTS group.
Okay, I did. Okay, I wasn't sure if
when
I
it was going. You were like, I almost got kicked out or something, and because I remember being like, can you tell us more?
Yes. And the next day, Robert realized when I was talking to the main guy and the other guy, he said he looked up and more SoFi were instantly they instantly showed up, like they were heading towards it. They weren't just walking by; they were coming to us to take us out.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he realized, and I said, "Look at my drink. I've been walking around for a while." He looked at my drink. You could see most of the alcohol. It was mainly water.
Water. Yeah.
He was like, "Okay, you are telling the truth." And I was like, I said, "Sir, I just want to get to my seats. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be back here no more."
I like how at one point you turned into like homegirl from the Kindred, where you were like in slavery days. All of a sudden.
I was like, "Listen, I paid a lot of money. This is on my credit card.
Here are my papers, sir. Please,
please. I am not trying to get to the band.
Oh my God!
I don't know those people. I don't do that."
She's like, "I am not a sasaeng."
No, I am not one of those. Because,
Boo, Nico.
And I'm like, "Rob, let's go, boo."
That's hilarious. And I love how oblivious he was.
He was, and it wasn't to the next day that it hit him. And even to like, we'll still talk about it. He was still like, "Oh my God, we almost got kicked out." I was like, "I know." I said, "Sometimes you need to listen to me." just
Yes. Listen to Black women.
And just follow. Just follow.
That's hilarious. Well, yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for taking.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to do this. Everyone listening, like I said, 80 people said yes. So there will be more of these, more interesting people, more interesting stories. So as always, you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.